What is up, people of all different types of ages, races, genders, and yes, even you other species out there watching this video. My name is Omega Pro, and the Xenoverse news has been very scarce recently, but of course, we got some new stuff recently, and I'm here to talk about it. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was the gameplay that they have shown at TGS. Now, this gameplay, I'm finding it has been very polarizing. A lot of people are very hyped for it. A lot of people think it looks really sweet, and other people think not so much. Now, for the people that think it does not look that great, their main concern is that it still looks stiff, and the lack of supers and ultimates and stuff like that kind of disturbs them. They kind of feel like it looks a little bit too much like Battle of Z, and with Namco's claims that the game was supposed to play like a 3D Budokai style game, they think that it just kind of looks a little too stiff for that. And I can sort of agree with them because, you know, trying to make a 2D fighting game playable in the same way in a 3D realm is kind of difficult. However, let me tell you why I think this actually looks pretty good. So for those of you that don't know, I widely consider most Dragon Ball Z games, not all of them of course, most Dragon Ball Z games to be not fighting games, right? They're just fun time wasters. Like, these things cannot be played competitively, in my opinion. I think even the most competitive games like Budokai 3, I still don't think that game can be taken competitively enough. I know there are, you know, combo cancels and infinites and all that other crazy shit, but it still lacks that something to make it an actual fighting game to me. I mean, to you it could be the perfect fighting game, I don't know, but to me, I just think that it just lacks something. I don't know what that something is, but I just don't think the games have it. What I think Xenoverse is trying to do is bring some more competitive flair to the Dragon Ball Z series while still maintaining that casual fun that a lot of people still like in the Dragon Ball Z games. Now, this I think is evidenced by how they handle supers and ultimates. So in one of the gameplays that I see, it looks like Goku uses an ultimate and it looks like he's using a super Kamehameha. This is evidenced by the fact that the camera sort of zooms in on his face, goes a little bit slow-mo, and then he throws out the Kamehameha. You know what other game does something like this? Street Fighter. Street Fighter does this when there's going to be a super move used. For example, Ryu's Super Hadouken, or Metsu Hadouken, sorry. I got my Dragon Ball Z mixed up there, but with like the Metsu Hadouken, it'll zoom in on his face, go slow mode, and then Ryu will be like, Metsu Hadouken! You know, something like that. I think what this is trying to add a little bit more of a competitive flair. I think they're trying to sort of emulate what something like Street Fighter does. Now, in Street Fighter, you can sit there and spam Hadoukens all day, but going up against anybody that even remotely holds a controller, it's probably not going to work. They can block it, they can jump over it, do whatever they need to do. In this game, it just looks like you get punished more for doing a Kamehameha because, you know, you have to charge it up and it goes a long way, and, you know, you can't just sort of spam them out or whatever. It just looks like you're going to have to be more cautious with your supers and ultimates, which is something that I think a lot of people will like because, I mean, I think we can all agree the super and ultimate spams in the previous games are kind of BS. And I mean, it's cool to have like the big flashy supers and the big flashy ultimates. And I do kind of hope that at least some form of that is still in Xenoverse. But at the same time, if they're going to not necessarily scrap it, but put it by the wayside to make room for a more competitive and more deep combat system, even just a little bit, because I think we all don't want Dragon Ball Z to be Street Fighter, right? I don't think anybody really wants that, but if they just added a little bit more of a competitive flair, that would get me on board, and it would add to the longevity of the game. People still play Budokai 3 because that game has the most depth out of any Dragon Ball Z game out there. And it's just one of those things, you know. The little bit of depth that they added to that game, that Dimps added to that game, made it last as long as it has, and people are still playing it. Hopefully the same can be said for Xenoverse, because they look like they have high hopes for this game. They look like they know what they're doing. Let's just hope that this gameplay actually rocks our socks off. What do you guys think about Dragon Ball Xenoverse? Let me know in the comment section down below. This has been your friendly neighborhood Omega Pro. Leave a like rating for that gameplay, baby. I will catch you all in the next video. Have a good one.